everybody, and welcome back to Heidi's house. This is your host, Queen Bee Heidi B. And today's featured guest is Kode Bleuu. I'm so excited to hear more about his house music journey. So, are you ready? Then let's go. So, here he is. Kode Bleuu is in the
What's
house.
happening? What's happening, Heidi B? It's been a long time coming, but we finally got it. We got it. Got it together. So I'm so happy.
Wonderful, wonderful. Yes, people watching this, this is my wonderful, wonderful house music brother here, and we have been trying to organize this interview for a while. So
Yeah,
finally, when there's a will, there's a way, so to say. And
absolutely, absolutely.
made it happen. So, again, a true pleasure and honor to have you joining into this little humble podcast that is all about exploring the house music culture globally.
hmm
And as you know, Heidi's House is like a snapshot kind of podcast
Right.
introducing different kind of house music related featured guests.
hmm
So every time I feel that it's a very personal journey to me because I get to know more and learn more about this beautiful thing called house music and house music
Right.
culture. So, yes, true pleasure to have you joining in
Thank
and
you.
welcome again to
Th-
Heidi's
Thank you.
house.
Thank you so much. I'm very very happy to be here. I appreciate it.
Likewise. And you know that I'm gonna go straight ahead to our first question. Very
Okay.
important question in your own words. Who is Kode Bleuu?
Wow. Well, Kode Bleuu is an individual who loves all types of music. I've been influenced by, jazz, classical, hip hop, reggae, you name it, and all different genres of house as well. Anyway, my passion for music started at probably about age seven or eight in elementary school through a music class. I was introduced to various instruments and in the class. So I ended up, playing violin in the third grade, switched to the trumpet in the fourth, played all the way through college. So I've had a musical foundation since that time. So again, being influenced by different types of music and listening to different types of music has really kind of honed my skills as far as a DJ and and as a producer as well. So that's pretty much a little bit about me.
Yeah. Hey, I just absolutely love that. And I have to straight ahead say this that I didn't know that you have a background as an instrumentalist, as a musician yourself
Uh-huh.
as well. But it does make sense because I was able to spot that somehow in some level when listening to your beautiful, amazing mix shows.
Oh,
They are very musical, so to say, and very, very creative, and the musical orientation there
hmm
is very, very audible. In that sense, what I mean by musical orientation is that really the soundscapes and the whole journeys that you create are
hmm
very, very much for instance, you understand the different chords, the different keys, all these kind of things, dynamics,
Right.
everything.
Right.
It
Right.
does
Right.
make it's a little bit like a little orchestrations going on there when
Right, right, right.
yes. Wonderful. So you've been playing a violin since a kid then, basically.
Yeah, I don't play now, but like I
Mhm.
said, I played and it started in the third and switched to the trumpet. I don't play either one of them anymore. But again, having,
Mhm.
like you said, that foundation, it definitely helps as I do what I do, especially creating these sets, like you said.
Yeah.
I'm very in tune to what's happening in each one of the songs, and I try to set things up so it's kind of like a musical trip, if you will. We
Yeah.
start at the beginning we're going to end somewhere. And it just depends on how I'm feeling in the moment. If I'm creating something for the radio, And same thing if I'm playing live. I'm reading the room, I'm reading the vibe, seeing how I feel about things, and then I'm gonna just take you where I need to go because it's very, very rare that I'm gonna play in a live set with off of a playlist. I don't do that. Um, so unless it's a private function such as a wedding reception or something like that, clearly I have to play stuff like that. But in a club situation, a club format or whatever, I'm going by what I'm feeling at the time. So
Yeah, and I always got the feeling really that you are inviting people to this kind of musical journeys in your mixes, and
mm,
really, like you said, that you are like a also reading the room and the vibrations there, so to say, which is
mhm.
suitable. And I love the fact that you are not like overly pre-planning your sets like you described, that you are
No,
like open to different changes throughout the mixing process, and that's a beautiful thing because it's really then creating and enable that communication between
right.
you and the audience, just like you described there.
Exactly, exactly.
Yes. Uh, um, Now, what got you, if you think about the house music itself, you described that you have been listening different kind of genres of music, of course,
Right.
and also coming, from the classical approach and all that, and jazzy and all these kind of elements there. But what got you to the house music originally?
That's a pretty easy question, actually.
Mhm.
I was exposed to house when I went to college, Frostburg State University in Western Maryland. Go Bobcats! Um, had to shout them out.
Go
Um,
Bobcats!
but yeah, it was there. It was at Frostburg. Going to various parties that were on campus, various functions by fraternities and sororities. The DJs would play hip hop and R&B and things like that, as well as at the time house was coming out, and they would
Yes.
play the house music, in those at those parties as well. So it was something different about house. I mean, like I said, I love it all, but there was something different about that spiritual, deep, soulful vibe, and it literally just got branded into my soul, and I was hooked ever since. I mean, I still love, hip hop, no doubt about it. That's my foundation. That's where I come from. That's how I started. But something about house it's got me. It's got its hooked in me, and it's not going to let me go. And I'm here.
Yeah.
I'm here. I'm a house head. You know what I'm saying?
Yep, yep. I truly understand. That's the magic there. What is going on? All
Right.
the vibes and everything with
Yep.
that beautiful genre of house music. So now, so you got kind of exposed to that during your college years. How about the
Mhm.
DJing then? Can you tell us what got you into DJing?
Sure, sure. I actually am a self-taught DJ, and I started at 13.
Oh,
Again, like I said, I started with hip hop because back then that's what we were into. So yeah, I taught myself how to spin. It was quite the journey because I didn't have 1200s at that time. The industry
mm,
standard. I had
mhm,
one JVC belt drive turntable as well as one Pioneer. So not even
mhm.
the same. And they were both belt drive turntables. So with no pitch control. So imagine that. So the struggle was real in in the
Yes,
beginning.
struggle was real.
You know what I mean? So again, I stayed with it. I learned how to blend back and forth. I learned how to beat match on my own. And I remember the very first two records that I ever used were the Beat Street movie soundtrack from back in
Yeah.
the day. That movie called Beat Street, and I would play those over and over and over and back and forth, learn how to beat match and things like and juggle a little bit, that kind of a thing. So, but that's where it all started, and then I just stuck with it. Through college, I didn't have my own equipment at the time, so I would basically bug other DJs at parties and things like that. Hey, give me some time on the turntables.
Yeah.
I know how to spin. I can do it. I can do it. And most of the time they look at me like, oh, okay, kid, get out of here. You know what I mean? But then sometimes they would feel sorry for me because I was always in their faces a lot of the times, and I would get a chance to spend 5, 10, 15 minutes until I started to get recognized, and people were like, "Hey, that guy's really good." And then I really started to take it really seriously, and that's where the name Code Blue was spawned from. It's
Mhm.
a play on the words in the medical field. As far as when they say code blue, I mean some kind of an emergency or a serious situation in the medical field. So, like I said, it's a play on words. So I took the music thing very seriously at that time, and so
Yeah.
I kept on going, and fast forward to the point where I was able to get my own equipment, started to do my own private events, um, and things like that, and here we are. It's all been
Yeah.
blessings all the way along the way.
You know, first of all, thank you for sharing about that name because I was intrigued a little bit about where does that came from, and you just kind
Uh-huh.
of gave me a hint that you have a history that the name was somehow given to you in some context, but it didn't really like hit on me that what was the context until
Right.
just right now.
And that,
so
there
so
you go. That a
that
whole
makes
world
sense.
knows.
I was thinking, is this a French thing, because
Not quite, not quite, but now
but it works in French as well.
right.
Wonderful. Uh, all right. Um, I'm thinking of all of those influences that you were sharing here, also the hip hop DJing and so on.
Hmm.
So I mean, also that obviously technically, like you were describing, that the gear that you had to work with challenge you a lot, but
Right.
it definitely, was kind of, I think. Maybe a blessing as a disguise because it forced you to really rehearse. Plus, I'm
Yep.
hearing that you got great networking while you were trying to
A little
others
bit
and
here
so
and
on.
there.
So yeah, but seriously saying, you truly did get recognized. I noticed that you also got awards and recognitions as a DJ. Could you tell us a little bit about those things?
Uh, a little bit here and there. Yeah. As a hip hop DJ at the time, I had a residency in a place called Ellicott City, Maryland, and it was a show that I held every Wednesday night. It was called Groove Wednesdays. Shout out to my Groove Wednesday fans and family that was back in the day. And I held that residency down for 3.5 years, which was pretty much unheard of at the time for on a Wednesday night. So and I grew that event from the ground up. And what happened was that I started to get really noticed in the Baltimore area, and people could call in, not call in, but they could um, complete various surveys in the various newspapers as far as the best DJ or best whoever, what, that kind of a thing. And I was voted best of Baltimore a few times, as far as DJ is concerned, in various publications. So again, I just did what I did and let the music play and let the music do what it does. And it touched people in a way that I wasn't expecting them to do, for it to do. And I'm very thankful for the fact that people saw little old me, as worthy to get such accolades. And even to this day, as we're speaking now, it kind of boggles my mind because I'm just, I can still remember myself, coming up, wishing that I had equipment as a kid and wishing that I could do this and wishing that I could do that. And, and I'm here now, I'm still moving forward, and I still feel, extremely blessed and thankful for all the opportunities that are coming my way. So, that's pretty much it. I try not to toot my own horn, if you will. If people think I'm good enough and I deserve this accolade or that accolade, thank you very much. I appreciate it. But I'm not, I don't, stay stuck on that. I just keep on moving forward and try to keep doing what I can do, as well as help the next person up, help them along as well. Cause I know how it feels to be the new person,
Yeah,
trying to get in. So any chance uh, uh, any chance that I have to try to help somebody else who's doing the same thing,
yeah.
I try to help out as much as I possibly can.
Very important, paying it forward, so to say.
Absolutely.
Very important. And, I have to say, just as a comment here, that you have been a wonderful, influence in the house music community. As far as I
Hmm.
can see it, also like really, I can see the support you have been supporting your fellow DJs,
Hmm.
fellow artists, music producers,
Right,
myself
right.
included. And thank you
Absolutely.
for that.
No
Absolutely,
doubt.
thank you for that as well. So
Absolutely.
that really shows. but I have to come back to that. I think certain things, I would say that certain things really cannot be planned, and certain things cannot be bought. But it's all that positive energy and vibration. What I think is coming somehow back to you. And what I believe, this is just my take on this, of course.
Hmm.
What I believe is that, because when I listen to your mixes and so on, so it's that energy, it's
Hmm.
that enjoyment of music, it's that vibe. And I think that is contagious. And I think that is what your listeners have been hearing. And they catch that energy and they catch that vibe, and it touches them somehow. And you made a connection. This is my take. Why that happens, and why it probably will continue happening, because
Right.
you're doing wonderful, great things, and you just keep going on and elevating and expanding new territories, so to say, as a DJ, which is
True.
beautiful, beautiful, beautiful.
Well,
Yeah.
I appreciate those kind words, Heidi, and I'm glad that you were able to feel exactly what I'm trying to convey to the masses, and that's exactly it. I want to, and I've always wanted to touch people through music. And as a kid, I remember it vividly. I just wanted to make people happy. I wanted to take them out, away from any kind of struggles or issues that they were having, just for a few hours. That was my mindset as a kid, growing up as a DJ. I mean, I wasn't playing any shows or anything like that, but in my mind, I could see, as a kid, as I was practicing, I'm going to do this. I'm going to make people happy. I'm going to, play all these cool music, call it cool songs, and all this different stuff, and try to help people feel good about themselves for at least for a few hours. And it's so almost surreal that I'm actually literally doing that, whether I'm doing it in a club or a lounge or over the air. And you described it exactly the way that I envisioned it as a youngster coming up. So I'm happy that I've been able to do what I do, and it's come across the way in which I envisioned it.
Yeah, very beautifully said. And I have to say, I just now somehow remembered I saw some clips you being in a studio DJing, and you're just like, almost like in your own world, partying and so on,
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
energy and everything. Like the joy of music really comes through, and that vibe comes through, and so on. So it's beautiful, beautiful, absolutely beautiful, and
Thank
it,
you.
it like uplifts also, just to see that also,
Hmm.
and to hear that, all that together. It's a beautiful, beautiful, positive thing that you are
Thank you.
creating.
Thank you. Thank
uh,
you.
Most welcome. And now, before I forget all of the other questions that I had in my mind, because I have few areas that I still want to explore. Now,
It's all right.
about the DJing, I want to have few more questions about DJing before we go to the
Sure.
producing side, because there's another side that you are taking on as well.
Right,
But
right.
if you think about the artists and DJs that have inspired you,
Mm.
who would be those artists and or DJs that have inspired you somehow?
Oh, wow. Well, I'm going to take it back to my hip hop roots. I know this right off the
Mhm.
top of my head. And I have to say that producer Pete Rock from Pete Rock and CL Smooth, he from hip hop, back in my hip hop roots. He produced the classic album called Mecca and the Soul Brother. He also did some incredible incredible hip hop remixes, like he did the remix for House of Pain, Jump Around. Which
Yeah,
is ridiculous. And he also did a song for Nas, "Whose World Is This?" that was on Nas's classic Illmatic album. And he also did a remix for Run DMC that was "Down with the King." And he,
mm,
he he's just an incredible producer on the hip hop side. And as far as house is concerned, I'd have to say. Um, I would have to say, oh, being from the Baltimore area, I- I'm most definitely influenced by the Basement Boys and
yeah,
everybody who's affiliated with the Basement Boys. Shout out to Neil Conway, shout out to DJ Spin, and everybody else is a part of that crew there. That's a no-brainer. They've been around for a long time, and I've watched and listened to them do what they do. And that's an incredible crew, who've done some classic work. It's like Gypsy Woman by Crystal Waters. I mean, so many things that
one
they've
of my
touched that
favorites.
became
Yeah.
classics. Things like that. Um, And I would have to say the iconic and classic Mr. Larry Heard, aka Mr. Fingers.
Yep.
He is most
Definitely.
definitely that he's most definitely one of my top favorites. I love what he's done over the years. He's dropped some insane classics, and what he does is just incredible. And I love the fact that he does a lot of instrumental music, because I when I do music production, I kind of focus on the instrumentals as well. And I know
Yeah.
I know a lot of people focus on vocals, and to me, vocals are just another instrument. They're not another layer. But I like the fact that he can produce, almost a full album of nothing but instrumental, tracks. You know what I mean? And it inspires me because I know that's kind of where I am when
Yeah.
I'm trying to write things. And it kind of lets me know, okay, well, it's all right to, do instrumentals without that last layer or that last, part, the vocals. Nothing's wrong with vocals, but I mean, for me, I I'm captivated by the instrumentals, and if well, clearly you know my mixes and things like that. So, and the majority of those mixes you will hear are pretty much instrumental. I mean, there may be
Yeah.
some vocals, interspersed from time to time, but the majority of them are instrumental. So, but definitely, Mr. Fingers, and last but certainly not least, my man, my homie, the one and only Joey Genres. I've known
Mm.
Joey. I've known Joey for my whole life. Big shout out to my man, Big Joey Genres. Yeah, I've known him my whole life, and it's been great to be around him as a DJ and as a producer. I've learned so much just listening to how he comes up with his music. And it's amazing to see somebody that you grew up with and know personally, to
Yeah.
see them literally capturing their dream, and I'm a part of helping to help to move that along as well, because clearly I'm dropping a lot of his songs in my in
Yeah.
my mixes. So I mean,
I took,
it's a no-brainer for me to do that, but I mean, again, he inspires me to be a better producer as well. He
yeah.
doesn't tell me things that I want to hear. He tells me things that I need to hear to help get my work up to a level where it needs to be. And I'm so proud of I'm proud of our synergy, and I'm proud
Yeah.
of the fact that he does what he does, and he's getting recognized for it as well. And stay tuned, because he's got a lot more to offer. I mean, a couple of things that'll be dropping real soon. 2026, June 2026. He's got a new one, and he's got another one, another smoker. It's going to be coming out in July 2026. So
Yeah.
I'm not going to speak too much on those right now. Let you guys get wind of that when it
Yeah.
comes out, when they come out. But again, I have to give him big props for just for being a friend, and a good supporter as well.
Wonderful. Yes. Stay tuned
Absolutely,
for this one. Yes. 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 Yes.
absolutely.
Definitely. Uh, Two quick things. Are there some tracks that are your very like a forever go-to tracks when you come thinking of your sets or so on? Do you have any go-to tracks? Some key tracks for you?
To be perfectly honest, I don't have any go to tracks per se, but I have to. It's funny because I love "Can You Feel It" by Mr. Fingers so
Mhm.
much that I have to make myself not play that in every set because that's such a
Ah,
classic.
okay.
So it's more like that, where there's songs that I want to play that I have to pull myself back from playing, more so than do I have go to songs. It just, again, it goes back just to the vibe. If I'm playing a situation where it's more of an old school house set, absolutely there's some hits that I have to play. Clearly, Gypsy Woman, Crystal
Mhm.
Waters, Can You Feel It, Mr. Fingers, Strings of Life.
Yeah.
Um, I can't recall the artist name at this point. I apologize for that. Um, but yeah, a few, some straight up classics that
Yes.
are must. So in that case, yes, I do. But other than that, I really don't have any particular go to
Mm.
song. Because it just depends. It literally just depends on the vibe and what I'm seeing going on, or literally what I'm feeling in the moment.
All right. Then, last but not least, regarding the
Hmm.
DJing, um, And this is just now something that came to my mind. But since you
Okay.
are so experienced DJ, and I know that there are DJs who are in a more or less in the beginning of their DJing career. Um,
Mhm.
what would your advice for them to be? Where to pay attention, or what could be very helpful for them um,
Gotcha.
in progressing their skills? What do you say?
Gotcha. Well, the first thing that I would think to say is believe in yourself and believe the
Mhm.
fact that you can do it. Don't listen to anybody else say you can't. Don't listen to them saying, "Oh, I don't like this. That doesn't sound right." Close your door. Stay in your bedroom. Stay in your basement, wherever you're practicing in the living room or whatever. Do what you do. Learn what you need to learn, and create your own style. Be who you are going to be artistically on your own by based off of what you are developing. Don't try to be like so and so. Don't try to act like the person over on this festival or whatever. Do what comes naturally to you. And once you do that, it's going to be a no-brainer. You're going to feel what's right. And just continue to believe in yourself. Don't worry about, starting off dropping, $10,000 on all of this brand new equipment. Get what you can afford, master that equipment, and move forward. And, don't be afraid to reach out to people to say, hey, I'm DJ so and so, here's a mix. I'm just curious, would you be interested in having me as a guest on your show or whatever the case may be? And you'd be surprised how many people will respond. And I'm a living testimony on that in regards to having that happen to me. I would say to the DJs, stay focused, do what you need to do, and learn the fundamentals actually as well. You don't have to go to these fancy DJ schools. There was no such thing as that when I came up. There were no books on DJing. There was none of that. We learned it on our own, and and things like that. So people are so lucky and fortunate to have all of these new resources. So just
Yeah.
learn the fundamentals. Learn how to beat match. If you can beat match, you can do anything else from there. I mean, but don't worry about trying to use all these effects and all of this kind of stuff in the beginning. Learn how to beat match. Be able to transition from turntable one to turntable two flawlessly without any issues. Period. End of discussion. That's where I'm at with
Yeah.
it.
Very good advices. Very, very good advices. I can wholeheartedly agree with those as well. Now we have a little bit left in this little snapshot interview, but we must not forget this area because
Okay.
we touched it already in the beginning of this interview, and it's all about you producing music. So could you share us a little bit about that? What is going on in that area?
Well, a lot has been happening recently.
Hmm?
Kind of keeping things under wraps a little bit. But I do have a few things happening. I'm currently working on various individual tracks to drop as individuals, and then I'm also working on other tracks that will probably include some of those I'm currently working on an actual EP. So I don't really have an actual timeline for the EP to be dropped, but I do have something that's going to be dropping, Lord willing, in July. One of my more recent projects. The title of that one's called Smoke Therapy. So, um, yeah, I'm pretty excited about what
Yeah,
I'm
me
doing.
too.
I'm excited about this, this level, because DJing was actually my number one passion, and then I've been, involved in producing as well. Back in the day, I was just kind of tinkering around, really wasn't doing much. Didn't really know what I'm doing, what I was doing at that point. But I've been learning quite a bit over the last few years, and I'm pretty much at a place where I know where I want to go, and what I'm starting to develop my own particular sound
Yeah, yeah,
based off of what I'm feeling, in the studio and what I'm coming up with. So yeah, so I'm moving forward on that level as well. I'm never going to get away from DJing at all. I aspire to continue to do that worldwide. But yeah, it's just it's a natural progression to go from DJ to producer, if you
yeah.
will. It's kind of a natural, it's a natural thing.
And with your background in music, for me, it makes sense that you also, bring that talent and that vision
Right.
to the world through the music production as well, and creating your own tracks and collaborating with other
Right.
people creating music.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we are staying tuned for that, and
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
gonna be
And real
hot, hot,
quick.
hot summer
Yeah, it's gonna be a hot
with
summer, and
music.
so everybody knows, so they can put two and two together. I do have a producer, um, alias, if you will, and that name is Silent Wolf Vibe. So if you see Silent Wolf Vibe out there, it's the alter ego of Code Blue. Everything is one and the same. So this, again, stay tuned for that, and those kinds of things that are coming up, and things like that.
Very, very wonderful news, and yes, people stay tuned for that, and now before we go, somebody most likely wants to follow you. Where can they find you in a social media?
Oh, okay. Yeah. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. And you can follow me on Facebook and Instagram at Code Blue, KodeBleuu. And on TikTok, it's at Code Blue, which code KODE with a period, and then Blue, Bleuu, on TikTok. So I'm out there. So and I'm very very accessible. Don't feel like you can't reach me, or especially any new artists or producers who have house tracks or whatever. Feel free to send them my way, because I'm very open as far as to listening and giving feedback. If not playing it in the mix, there's many artists that I've featured in my mixes, or on the radio or whatever. So yeah, so don't feel like you can't reach out. Please do.
Please do, and I have to say now this, that if it wasn't mentioned strongly enough before, that Code Blue is playing in several different radio stations around the globe. Actually,
Right.
you are playing, for instance, in BPM Radio Brazil. Uh,
Right.
together with
You're playing there
myself,
too.
and shout out for the guys, shout
That's
out to
right.
Andre and all the
That's
other
right.
team members. Excellent team of DJs. Like,
Absolutely.
we are so happy to be part of that crew. And
Right.
where else do you play? Can you give a little recap for our audience
Sure.
once
Sure. I'm playing on various radio stations, domestically as well as internationally. Out of Austin, Texas, I'm gonna play on Houseworks. All of the details will be on my Facebook or Instagram if you want to get the times that I'm playing. But like I
again?
said, Houseworks out of Austin, Texas. Um, Out of Portugal and Russia, I'm playing on 7 kilowatt radio. And you mentioned currently BPM Radio Brazil. So yeah, I'm playing a lot of places like that. And speaking of, it's such a blessing to be able to have been considered, to play on these particular radio stations, because I would have never in my wildest dreams, thought that would have ever happened. You know, so but and I'm going to say, shout out to you, Heidi, for, I don't know if you realize this or not, but back in January 2025, you had me on as a guest on your station, and that was the very first time that I was played internationally. And from
Oh,
that, yes, and from that
welcome.
broadcast, that opened up so many doors, and so many people are like, "Whoa, you play here, you play there." So again, I need to shout you out, and I'll be forever grateful for you for giving me that opportunity to spin on your show, which gave me that crack in the international door, and it's been off to the races from there. And I've done other guest spots on other various radio stations as well. So Radio Without Frontiers, Mio Radio, and
Yeah.
a few other places that I'm kind of I'm missing at the moment. And I apologize for that. But yeah, it's been a whirlwind over the last, I'd say, over the last year, as far as doing all the radio DJ. And it's been crazy in a sense, but a good crazy though.
Good, crazy though, and I think you absolutely deserve it. Like the mixes that you sent to my so to say, to the platform that I was using, they were exquisite. I was very happy to share them with the world, and
Thank you.
again, very happy to connect with you and have a new house brother in my community
I know
of
that's right. I know that's right.
artists and DJs. So pleasure was truly mine. Code Blue, if you think about now, after all this talk,
Hmm.
what we had, thinking about the house music community, what kind of impact or message do you want to give to the world of
Okay.
house music?
Well, for me, I'm trying to be collaborative out here and bringing that kind of a positive spirit to the community. For whatever reason, there's so many things we can see and we hear all the time. People are hating on one another, and to me, I don't believe there's really a reason for that. We have so many opportunities and so many venues and so many radio stations out here that everybody can get in wherever they want and wherever they fit in based on their style and their preference. So I think it's important that we all support one another in that way, to know that it's okay. Don't feel I'm gonna take over your spot or whatever, because there's another spot over here that I can probably get into. So I think it's really important to have that kind of a positive energy, if you will, and that's what I'm trying to bring to the community. And then on top of that, basically in regards to my mixing in the house community, I'm pretty eclectic. So I try to stay in my own lane and just do what I do, how I do it. And I'm not trying to sound like this person or sound like that person or whatever the case may be. Um, and that's pretty much it. Just try to stay true to myself and try to continue to have a positive spirit out there.
I love that. Absolutely love that. What you said, staying true to yourself is the only way of
Yeah.
having and developing the unique sound. First of all, that's how
Yep.
you can, in my belief, have the opportunity to stand out. Then by
Yeah.
being you and creating that unique style. And then you said something that resonated very well, because I was just the other day thinking of the kind of like a metaphor for that same thing that you shared there, that why do we compete so much and why do we have this kind of battle
Hmm.
when all of us, we can be stars of our own right and shine the way we
Exactly.
shine, and that makes the beautiful starry night anyway.
I
All
love that.
those stars
I love
out
it. That,
there.
that and that's true. It's so true. There's no reason to dampen somebody else's spirit or somebody else's, or put somebody else's star out.
Yeah.
Because there's so many opportunities for each of us to shine in our own way, and I agree with you 1,000%.
All right. Well, I have to say that it was worth of all the wait. This
Thank you,
interview.
thank you, thank you. It absolutely was. I mean, it's been a year and some change coming, but we finally got it
Mhm.
together. You know what I mean?
We
But
finally
again,
got it.
I'm thankful, and I'm appreciative of you having me on your show, and just the opportunity to build a new friendship,
Mhm.
across the water. And don't forget me. I'm trying to come over to Finland and spend live with you. So let's make
Yeah.
some things happen. You know what I mean?
Yes, like I was saying in the beginning, when there's a will, there's a way. That's
Okay,
what I
that's right.
truly believe. So, yeah. And I'm
Sounds
trying to
good to
come
me.
over there to visit you and my all beautiful house music community all over the States, for
That's right.
that matter. So I would love to, visit
That'll
there
work.
once again.
That'll work.
And,
We'll have to make some things happen.
yeah, and make some things happen.
Yep.
So, thank you again for sharing a little bit about your house music journey so far, about your experiences in DJing and your
Hmm.
influences when it comes to DJing and music, your wise advice for aspiring DJs, and generally the beautiful message that you share to the house music community. And of course, we are staying tuned for your new productions. So
Right, right. Well, Heidi, I really appreciate you. as a DJ and as a person. You have a good spirit. It really resonates well, and keep doing what you do because you're a big inspiration to a lot of us out here as well in the community. But again, thank you so much for having me. And this is just the beginning.
So, Code Bleu, not thinking about. Okay, sorry.
It's okay. You could have kept it. You could have kept it. It's
I'm talking with the Frenchman.
I love it. I love you.